right. Welcome to another episode. A lot of stuff to cover today. A lot of stuff to cover today. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and start with the Jazz have changed their mind. I mean, I think that the idea that they weren't going to listen to trades for Donovan Mitchell is ridiculous. After shutting down inquiries, they're now open for business. Um, there was something I saw here where, um, let me see if I can put it up, where Bobby Marks said that Brooklyn can't get him either because he's a max extension guy and you can have two rookie max extension guys on the same team. So let's see. The rules of designated rookie max extension. A team cannot acquire two players in a trade that signed a 5-year rookie max extension. So Brooklyn only has one player that they acquired in the trade, Ben Simmons. Golden State already has the second player, which is Wiggins. So Brooklyn cannot acquire Donovan Mitchell in the trade without trading him out. So him being the third piece of a deal with the Suns is not going to happen unless they trade Ben Simmons. And who would want Ben Simmons? His value is probably at an all-time low. So I'm guessing this probably means that he's going to Miami. A package with Tyler Hero and all their picks. I think they'll probably give up 6 picks in a swap for him. Draft picks. Let's see if they own their picks. I think they own most of their picks. Draft pick scenarios. So they have one first round pick. They don't have a pick next year. They have a pick the year after. They have a pick the year after that. So yeah, they can give their 6 picks, swaps. They can do all that stuff. So it looks like Miami's going to do it. And Tyler Hero, the swaps, the picks. You make the contracts work. I'm sure they can make the contracts work. Let's go trade machine. And let's see here. Work this out real time. Miami and Utah, right? So Utah doesn't have that much salary on the books. Well, I don't know. If you're going to trade him, that means that you have to trade Bogdanovich too, right? So you would add Tyler Hero to the trade, right? And damn, you see, it's tough because you have to make the salaries right. So you have to add Duncan Robinson. That's the only way that I could see. I don't think they're going to want to take back Kyle Lowry, right? And so let's see, try this trade. Trade failed, heat over luxury tax hole. They have to cut 1 million. Okay, yeah. So you just have to throw another $1 million salary in here from the Heat. So they're not going to trade Max Strus. They'll probably trade Gabe Vincent. I don't think he's signed anywhere. Try this trade. Yep. So yeah, attach the picks, and I'm sure they would take that. I don't think they would be happy about this Duncan Robinson number, but he's a shooter. So he's a shooter. So is anybody going to be more upset than Tyler Hero to go from Miami to Utah? To go to Miami where he was friends with Jack Harlow. Jack Harlow makes a song about him, the Tyler Hero song, but the song actually bangs. I actually like that song by Jack Harlow. But you're in South Beach, you're chilling, you got an Instagram model pregnant, you just doing your things. And we're going to send you to Utah. That's tough. Now, he said, hey, I want to start next year. Start in Utah. You can still live in Miami in the offseason. So, but I think that this is a trade. I don't see the way that you can work a 3-team deal because Brooklyn would have to find someone to take Ben Simmons, and Ben Simmons is just not a valuable commodity. right? There's no way that you can kind of triage that. And then the next piece of news that got broke is that Woj broke today that, let's see. Oh no. Doing the Fugazi. 3-team. With Durant, that it's going to have to be a 3-team deal. Yeah, multiple team deals for Kevin Durant.
Hey there, welcome to NBA Today. I'm Malika Andrews, and I'm here with the best in the business. It's senior NBA.
Yeah, we don't have to watch the whole video, but yeah, it's I guess they outlined that it's going to have to be a 3-team deal because they're not happy with any of the offers that they got. So, I mean, that being the case, I mean, I think you're going to see it's going to take some time here because I don't see anything on either one of these teams that's going to be enticing to bring in a third team unless picks go their way. But I'm sure Brooklyn's going to win all those picks. To me, the trade that they're getting offered right now is good enough. And Ayton, Cam Johnson, and Mikal Bridges with the picks. Now, are they offering all those picks? Are they saying to themselves, hey, we're only bidding against ourselves? Miami can't even do the deal because Miami, once again, cannot trade one of their max extension players in the deal, which would be Bam. So I'm guessing you would have to trade Bam to meet their asking price. If they're not happy with Ayton, Mikal Bridges, second and defensive player of the year, and Cam Johnson, how are they going to be happy with the Miami deal that just includes Tyler Hero? And you run into the same problem that Ben Simmons doesn't equate value to anyone. So we'll see what ends up happening at the end of the day. I think that their best option, once again, is to get what the what's the names are offering, to take what the Suns are offering, but they're being stubborn. Maybe they want more. You know, Toronto, I just don't see them throwing that Hail Mary. They have a good young roster, young wings, a bunch of 6'8" players who can dribble, defend, shoot. That's where the league is going. OG Anunoby still has upside. Barnes still has upside. Why blow all that up for Kevin Durant when a team with Kevin Durant got swept? You know, I don't want to keep banging on the same drums here, but my God, like what this guy is asking for, he asked Minnesota. This has been refuted by no one. He called Minnesota and asked for Cat and Anthony Edwards for Durant. So he's just not dealing in a reality, just at least currently, that just makes any sense that I can draw any recognition from. So yeah, those two deals, it looks like those are going to happen probably sooner than later. I'm guessing that there's not Woj doesn't come out with these reports unless the teams want them to come out with these points. So I'm guessing that Utah is ready to talk deal, and they're probably ready to get it done sooner or later. I'm guessing if you trade Donovan Mitchell, you're going to have to trade, maybe find someone to take Conley. Maybe, you know, they can facilitate some picks going out if they find someone to take Conley, but maybe they don't. And then also maybe you have to trade Bogdanovich at his salary, at his age. I'm sure he's going to want out too. So we'll see. NFL, a lot of NFL stuff is popping off today too. Let's go. So the Patriots trade N'Keal Harry. I don't know what that means. 7th-round pick. They had higher picks the season before. They didn't want to do it. Doesn't really make sense to me. Judge denies motion to exclude Henry Ruggs' blood alcohol level. He was trying to get that thrown out, and there was a lot of people on Twitter. One thing I love about Twitter now is that you can find anything. Like if there's a big case like that's going through the courts, a bunch of actual lawyers will jump on Twitter and you can get actual legal text. There's a medical case, a bunch of actual doctors will jump on. and so on and so forth, and round and round and round and round and round it goes. So a lot of lawyers came out and said maybe he might have a chance at getting his blood alcohol level that the police take from him at the scene excluded. And then if he gets that excluded, then he could definitely win the case outright. But the judge denied that motion. So it looks like he's going to go through a trial. The conversation that I was having, the reason why I was discussing with this was someone who's like, if he gets found not guilty, does he play? And there was actually a couple facsimiles. Dante Stallworth, Leonard Little, the DN, they both had vehicular manslaughter charges. They both were suspended by the league for a year in Stallworth's case, 8 weeks in Leonard Little's case. So I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening with him. But another reason why we're talking about, because Deshaun Watson, his briefs were due today. There was a rumor that went on the internet, 4 to 6 weeks is the suspension that the NFL is looking at. I don't know. I don't see how that's tenable, but the NFL, man, they just do what they want to do, man. They're not really going on no string. It's all arbitrary. Whatever way the wind is blowing, that's the way that your suspension is going to go. Whatever way the wind is blowing, that's the way your suspension is going. So let's see here. I thought there was something else in the show today that made. No, I guess not, man. I'm just getting ready for this football season. Now let's talk a little college football. Let's look at what Tricky Nick Saban said today. First of all, you see what this my man Tiger said about it? Doesn't understand how they could give up the chance for playing for championships. I disagree with it. I think that what they've done is turn their back on who has allowed them to get to this position. You know, what's very interesting is the PGA Tour, when Tiger Woods had his initial crisis, you know, the cheating saga, they publicly rebuked him. And I would say Tiger Woods, more than any other entity in the last maybe 40, 50 years, has carried his sport in ways no other player has done since then and has done before. Like golf, what Tiger Woods did to golf, I mean, I just don't think you can compare it. The eyeballs that he puts on it, you know, like the game is, you know, just a weird place. There's no really dominant players. I mean, most people, he still jumps the ratings. He's like 40 something. So they didn't support him in his worst time. And now this is the most serious threat to the PGA Tour in his history. You got a well-funded opponent who doesn't care about immediate outcome, who's willing to outweight you, who's willing to outspend you. Tiger Woods could have dealt them a knockout punch and say, you know what, I'm taking this building. Y'all did me dirty. Y'all publicly rebuked me for something that didn't even have to do with golf, saying you were disappointed and ashamed by my behavior. All he did was cheat on his wife. Millions of people cheat on their husbands and wives. Probably thousands of golfers, probably hundreds of people who are in PGA leadership cheat on their wives. And they publicly rebuked him. And they kicked him while he was down. Like the man was going through some serious shit. And he went back there and he rode for them, man. I don't know. They better thank God that Tiger Woods is Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson isn't Tiger Woods. But that's another story for another day. But let me okay. Saban, mega conferences are likely here to stay. I think that you've heard a lot of bristling from Nick Saban and from Dabo Sweeney. And I think there's a reason for that. The reason why they're complaining so much and bristling so much is I think they want to give themselves the out. I think that dominance that people are expecting from Alabama, are expecting from Clemson, those days are over. Those days are over. With NIL, with super conferences, these divisions are going to be too stacked. If you watch Alabama closely last year, They could have lost at least like 6 or 7 of their games. Let me pull up their schedule. RollTide.com. Roll Tide. You got Texas A&M, LSU, Ole Miss. So let me pull up the schedule from last year, 2021. So you see, they almost lost to Florida. The young boy Richardson, Cam Newton Jr. I think Ole Miss could have beat them, but man, that boy was bugging, man. Lane Kiffin, he just kept going for it. He was playing Madden. 4th and 7 on his own 21. Now we're going for it. Like, calm down, fam. You good. Texas A&M, obviously they lost. LSU game, I remember watching this, like, damn, they could lose this game. Arkansas game, watch that. Damn, they could lose this game. And Auburn, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't count this one. 5 games. And then they lost the national championship. 5 games that they could have lost in the calendar season. Alabama, that's unheard of. But look at the SEC now. You have LSU, right? They got Brian Kenny. They got Brian Kelly. He's one of the best coaches in the league. You know, shout out to my man, Coach Ed. But after they lost Joe Brady, they were magic with Joe Brady. They were bad without him. Now you have a competent guy who has always done well without the recruiting advantage. Now he can recruit just as well as you. And they got the money. They got more money. So, like, if you look at this, Louisiana and Georgia obviously has more money. Louisiana has more money than Alabama. Texas definitely has more money than Alabama. Texas is coming in as well, the University of Texas. And then there's rumors that Miami might come, and Florida might, and Florida's already there. So what I'm saying is, and there's another rumor that Urban Meyer might come back to Florida next season. So I say that to say this: he knows, man, us just rolling and it's us in the national championship conversation, those days is over. Whoever for him and whoever places him, and he's getting his fans ready. I'm giving myself the out. I told you guys, NIL, I can't compete. I told you guys. So I think the people that are complaining about this, like Clemson, there's rumors that Clemson is going to come to the SEC. There's no more, you play Pitt and you play North Carolina and North Carolina State. You got to play with the big dogs. You got to recruit versus the big dogs, and you got to spend with the big dogs. South Carolina is not a spend. Does that sound like a money state? So it's going to be harder for these guys. And I think that they're trying to give themselves outs because people are going to look at them like, man, you guys not cutting it anymore. And it's just like, no, we don't have the advantage in recruiting anymore. And and this is why I say that Urban Meyer is the best coach of all time, because, you know, Nick Saban, he might have the rings, but once recruiting starts getting even, Alabama's always had the best recruits. Whenever it was even for even, I can recruit just as well as you. He always beat Nick Saban. And whenever it was recruiting for the recruiting, I can get the same players as you. You're starting to see what's happening. This is the first year. I think it's going to be worse this year. I think they're probably going to lose 2 or 3 games this year. Yeah, just pull up their schedule. So they play Texas at Texas. I don't think Sarkisian is going to beat them, but this is an early start game, second game of the season. Alabama lost a lot of players in the draft, whole new receiving core, right? Whole new receiving core, whole new running back core. These are going to be all weapons he's never played with before, right? Arkansas played them tough last year. We'll see if they can bring back, you know, Texas A&M. That's going to be a blood flu. And that's primetime television. I'm not missing that game. That is primetime television. I'm not missing that game. Him and the boy Jimbo. And then you got LSU. You know they're going to be fired up in the swamp. And Ole Miss, they might lose a couple games. They almost lost to Auburn last year. Auburn was trash. They almost lost to Auburn. Auburn should have beat them. They were a fourth down conversion away from beating them. I think he knows what's up. And Jimbo and Dabo, excuse me. I mean, it's tough. It's tough for him. He knows. It was trash last year. Trash. Garbage. So he's probably people looking around like, and you just lost your defensive coordinator, Venables. People thought Venables was never going to leave, and he probably would have never left if my man Lakey Ronnie stays at Oklahoma. So I think what they're doing is preparing their fans and giving themselves an out, because those dominant season where it's 4 straight years and we're in the playoffs, unless they explain that playoffs to 12, 16 teams, that is not going to be the case for nobody. And then people are going to be looking at Saban like, well, what, are you falling off? Do you need to exit stage left? So, and Jimbo and Dabo, he's young in his career. He's not as, he's not as decorated as Nick Saban. So if this is the fall off and you don't start winning again, they're going to automatically go retroactive and start questioning your legacy from the jump. Like you might see a situation, and people always speculated it, but you might see a situation where Dabo takes over for Nick Saban, because I would rather be Alabama than Clemson in the SEC. I would rather be Alabama than Clemson. Alabama still has a history and a tradition. You're dealing with players, the kids growing up now have watched Alabama, so you still, and they've watched Clemson too, but I just think Alabama just has a deeper history. They have a better lineage of players. You get to the point now where players' sons are playing. So Patrick Surtain Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr. for Ohio State, that's about to come up. So you're dealing with that. So I think that is better for you when you're dealing with, legacy and recruiting parents. The parents remember Alabama being dope, They don't really know Clemson being dope like that. And boy, Marvin Harrison Jr., he's good. Ohio State, they're going to be tough this year. The question is, can they play defense? They haven't been able to play defense since Urban Meyer left. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Some good stuff. Football season, mostly going to be football content going soon. I'm trying to get those videos up tonight. The game is again. All right, thank you for watching this clip. Do me a favor. Push the button. Hit subscribe. Come on, man. Push it.
Push the goddamn button.
Push the goddamn button.
You heard what she said.
Man, do what's right. You heard her. Push the button. The game is a game.
So what's up, man? What's up with you otherwise, The game is a game. Always.